of News Center. That right there has been President William Ruto at the launch of the G7 strategy launch right here in Nairobi that has seen several female governors attend that launch, where President William Ruto has also talked about the need of strengthening women leadership in the country, praising the women leaders who are there, especially the governors, saying that women governors have shown that they are able to do much more than their male counterparts. And in studio with me today, we're talking about the International Women's Day, which will be observed tomorrow across the world. And just to get tidbits on where we are, government policy, the civil society, also in terms of the marginalized and local communities that we have in the country, how we are all working together to make sure that the woman is heard, that the woman is respected and given her place in the society. In studio with me is Madam P.S. and Wangombe, State Department for Gender. Welcome in studio. And next to her is Mary Likana next to me, that is from Ido Likani Women Network, and Susan Otieno, Executive Director, Action Aid. Welcome to News Center as we have this discussion on International Women's Day. I'll just start with you, PS. In terms of the government and issues to do with the women, where are we today? And what are some of the achievements that we can sit here and say we are here as Kenyans?
Before I talk about the achievements that we have, allow me to invite all the Kenyans for tomorrow's commemoration of the International Women's Day, which will be held in Ebu County. So we welcome you all. Our guest of honor will be His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. We have our CS inviting us all for the function where we will be celebrating the achievements of women in terms of politics, in terms of economically, and we'll be looking at the achievements socially. Where are we as far as achievements in this country is concerned? Basically, I know you want to look at the gender space where we are, and just like we have listened to His Excellency making his speech today regarding women in leadership, I can tell you that we have made strides as far as women leadership is concerned. We have 7 women governors currently, as opposed to 2017 when we had 3 women. There were 5 women. There were 3 women governors. So we have made strides. If you look at, for example, the number of women MPs that we have for the Sigomeba constituencies, they are 28. That is a major stride. If you look at, for example, the number of women reps that we have, it is an affirmative action, so that is progress. We have 47, so that is quite progressive. When you look at the appointive positions, currently we have 7 cabinet secretaries out of the 22. Then we have 12 principal secretaries out of the 51 that we have. So we have made quite some bit of progress as far as leadership is concerned. Look at the CJ. For the first time, we have a woman who is a CJ. So we have made good progress. Socially, if you allow me, we have also made some good progress. For example, when it comes to education, we have managed to retain our girls in school through the program of sanitary towels, which we provide to all the girls in primary and junior secondary schools, just to retain them in school and to ensure that they're using very hygienic methods
to take care of themselves.
Okay.
Let me come to Susan. Susan, now when we talk about the place of the woman in the society today, it's unfortunate that in the country femicide cases we've seen going up. Also, the woman in others say is there to be seen and not to be heard. As the president today launches the strategy G7, tomorrow we are observing the International Women's Day. From the eye of the civil society, where are we as a country, and what should we do to make sure that things work as they should?
Yeah, thank you so much. There are strides that we've made as a country. First and foremost is to have the requirement of not more than 2/3 gender rule, as Madam PS has said, within the Constitution. So it's already enshrined, meaning that what we should be looking at is its execution. Then we also had the President again write to the two houses, the Senate and the Parliament, to work towards ensuring that we have laws that can now actualize it. So those are strides we have to appreciate, that there's commitment, the political will, as mentioned. Then we've also seen what the people did during elections by bringing the numbers that Madam PS has mentioned. Now, with that team, we come to implementation. We've seen quite some deliberate attempts to have even budgetary allocations. She talked about education, trying to see that we are covering the barriers that would stop a girl from being in school. And that goes from even as simple things as sanitary towels and major things as well as ensuring that we can cover the fees for those who cannot afford to be in school, so that families don't have to choose between a boy child and a girl child, you know, of who of the two goes to school. We've also seen that affirmative action has also been taken into areas of financing. The kind of funding that is available for women to access to be able to boost their economic well-being and also for their households. In terms of what can be done and where we need to put a lot of focus also is when we are talking about financing, we need to be gender aware that the funding can be there, but if we are not very clear that we are doing a gender responsive budgeting and hence allocating, knowing the specific needs for women, whether it's in health, education, and any other area, if we do not focus on the need that is there, then we may end up having allocations but not addressing those specific.
Let me come to you, Mary. Mary, now, in the community that you represent, the place of the woman in terms of going to school has been a challenge for a very long time, but you are a champion that is pushing this agenda. As we celebrate the Day of the Woman tomorrow, where are we in that community? How does the civil society and the government come to help you push your agenda?
Wacha nishukuru nisema asanti, nikiomba nisalimie kwanza Elangatawas Lodoklan Women Network wakisherekea siku leo ya wanawake. Ninawasalimu sana, ninawapenda. Kwa upande yetu tunashukuru Mungu kwa sababu kwa ukweli tumeweza kuwa watu ambayo tumetambulika, ambayo tumekaa kwa muda mrefu tukiwa tujatambulika. Unajua kama sisi kama culture yetu huwa haitambuliki mwanamke, lakini sasa mahali tumefika tumeona ya kwamba tumeweza kuwa tumetambulika na tunapewa hiyo tunapewa chance ya kwanza kama wasichana kusomeshwa, kwa sababu ilipokuwa kijana akimaliza na msichana, kijana ndiye anasomeshwa, msichana anawachwa. So tunashukuru kwa sababu sasa hivi mahali tumeelekea tukuna hiyo mabadiliko ya kwamba sisi kama wasichana tumepewa hata sisi nafasi ya kusoma, kwa sababu ilikuwa kama msichana amemaliza, wewe umpeane msichana upate mali ya kumsomesha kijana. So kwa community yetu mimi ninaona mabadiliko imeingia na tunashukuru kwa sababu ya hiyo. Asante sana.
No, but PS, she's raising something very important in terms of the communities now embracing the need of the girl child to go to school. Now this goes directly to now the government in making sure that that is possible, because under the Constitution every child has the right to go to school. Therefore, let's rope in, because your ministry talks about gender, not just women. So how then do we rope in men in this conversation about the girl child, about the woman, and her being respected and given the chance and opportunity to just do the right things? Because we talk about equal pay for equal job, but that's not the case.
Just to add weight onto what she has just told us. Indeed, the government is keen on ensuring that all girls, all boys go to school. And then we have also, as a State Department, first I need to let you know that we believe in respect, equality, and safety. When it comes to the marginalized communities, safety and is quite key. We have seen a lot of gender-based violence all over, and especially in the marginalized community, particularly female genital mutilation. But we have been working closely with the gatekeepers of culture, that is the elders of these communities, as well as the development partners, to ensure that we put aside or we completely drop these very retrogressive practices. I can confirm to you last month, but on that 1st December, we had brought together elders from 5 counties who made commitments to aid FGM and to ensure that their children go to school and to aid marriages. So that way, our children will go to school, boys and girls. And just again to emphasize that our gender state department is about girl child, is about the boy child. So ours is to ensure that all go to school. Thank you.
Now, Susan, in terms of, I've touched on equal pay, rights of women to work. There are those who say a woman has to prove themselves before I give you this job, but a man is trusted from the word go. Therefore, how do we change that perspective and say that which a man can do, a woman can do better? The president has also alluded to the same.
A woman can do better.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think what we need to recognize is this is a global challenge. And it's a global challenge that equally emanates from patriarchy. And what was appreciated in terms of who ought to be out of the home to be working and who needs to stay at home. And with time, things have changed. So we have the men go to work and the women equally leave to go to work. But we still see the disparities. Countries like the US have similar challenges where a man would go for the same job as a woman, but when it comes to pay, the man would definitely not sweat on how he negotiates for the pay. It's sort of, you want to call it, it's something that is institutionalized in a way. And that already is discrimination. When you look at reasons for recruitment, we would be saying, does the man have potential? And that is sufficient to have them get employed. But for the woman, there's a lot more that is put on her. Even if you have potential to lead, you're likely to find that you're held in the same role, but given the opportunity to do the leadership roles, but rising becomes a challenge. And that's why today, as even the G7 is launching, it's an opportunity that we are going to track and be able to compare and say, truly these 7 counties have done well, and they are therefore giving evidence why women need to be in those leadership, appointive, and nominative positions, why they need to be there. So it's about tracking the performance of women to use that as evidence to the society and the whole world to be able to see that women too can lead given the opportunity and if allowed to lead. Yeah.
Now, Mary, in your community, there's always that disparity between, say, men and women. But when you talk about tukizungumzia mambo ya wanawake, tunapata kuna mkanganyiko mwanaume na mwanamke, especially kwa community ambayo watoka. So tuseme ni vipi mnajumuisha wanaume kwa njia gani kuhakikisha mnaelewana, kuhakikisha kuwa mwanamke pia anapewa heshima?
Kwa hiyo upande tumeweza kuwa na mkutano ambayo imetusaidia kupitia kwa shirika ambayo ni ActionAid, wakatufundisha na tukaweza kupata hiyo nguvu ya kuweza kuongelesha wanaume wetu, kwa sababu mbeleni sisi hatungeweza kuongea na wanaume. Kama ni mkutano, hakuna saa mwanamke anapewa nafasi asungumze. Maybe sasa wakielekea kumaliza mkutano wanasema peni domo mwanamke ataye ongee ndio twende. So mahali sasa tumefika, tumepewa sasa nafasi mzuri ambayo ikifika ni program inawekwa, inapangiwa hata baada ya mwanaume kuongea mwanamke anaongea. So kwa hiyo tumeona ya kwamba kwa hiyo hali ambayo tumeweza kujua right zetu, imetusaidia naye tushikane na wanaume wetu na tuelewane na tukawa tunaweza kuwaface na tufanye kazi pamoja. Yeah.
Tukimalizia, unataka serikali na civil society wasaidie kivipi kuhakikisha kwa mwanamke anazidi kusikizwa?
Kwa upande hiyo ninataka tu serikali waweze kutilia mkazo ya kwamba kama ni mambo na leadership iwe naye mwanamke, kama wanaume ni wawili mwanamke naye au mmoja, kama wanawake ni wawili pia wanaume akuwe mmoja, ndiposa tuwe tuandamana pamoja.
She talks about inclusivity. I'll come to you as we go back to the PS now. Susan, she's actually raised things that in terms of intentionally bringing men into this conversation. Just how should we push that moving forward and make sure that it is a holistic conversation, not just women in their corner talking and men in their corner talking, but everyone coming together?
I think we need to start by appreciating that community has both communities. They have both women and men. Appreciating the joint roles, but also appreciating the difference in the kind of roles that they play. If we are talking about having collective conversations, we probably need to start by ensuring that there's a lot of time that is freed around women for them to be able to participate and provide information. And when men are brought in the space, it's also important to work with them to appreciate that they are coming in as agents and they're also coming in as beneficiaries. Because let's take the school in Kajiado. If the primary school will be able to have gender-friendly structures where there are girls' toilets, there's no way, even as a developer, you can go in and say, we'll do toilets for girls and not do for boys because we are supporting the girls. Or we will give desks that will support the girls. It's just that the adverse effects of not providing better education environment affects girls more than men. But it's now for us to let the men know that the benefits come to the entire community and their involvement, one, as Madam Pierce said, they are custodians of culture. When they come in, they should be able to mirror the culture if it's really working for them. But also, as they come in, they need to remember that as a country, we have pieces of legislation that consider certain acts criminal. So as a Kenyan, you also need to come in as a man knowing that you will need to adhere by the law. Yeah.
Madam PS, a lot has been said in terms of the government being the custodian of the law, policies and everything as you celebrate Women Tomorrow. Maybe moving forward, what are some of the strategies that you are pushing from your end to make sure that gender equality, gender parity is realized in the country as you finally also celebrate women across the world?
Thank you. Before I go to your question, I just want to put some emphasis on what she has said, that this is something that we cannot win. Gender equality, we cannot win it alone. We've got to have male inclusion. And for that reason, we have a new thematic area where we have male engagement and inclusion. So we are using men as our champions to fight for equality or to ensure that we have equality. And our lead, our key lead, our major champion is the president himself. You listen to his speech. He is actually spearheading this because he would want to see women in political leadership, socially and economically empowered. The interventions include that aspect that I've just talked about, ensuring that we include men in this conversation. And we have realized great success in this. Also ensuring that we create a lot of awareness as a government, and we are working closely even with development partners so that we can create awareness amongst the men, amongst the women, because some women are just there, they think it is normal to be subjected to mistreatment or to be there, to be discriminated against. They think that it is normal. So we have to create a lot of awareness. We have come up with policies. We have come up with registrations to ensure that we go we are compliant with the Constitution of Kenya 2010, where we have the key principles of inclusion, equality, equity, etc. Yeah. Not to mention, allow me to mention that we have economic empowerment, and we are doing this through ensuring that women entrepreneurs have access to affordable